So I feel like I experienced heaven in like such a small scale, but it was just so amazing, to be honest. After 3 minutes of torture in hell, I blacked out. Immediately when I woke up, I saw this light, and this light was like piercing. It wasn't like just blazing hot, it wasn't just warm, it wasn't even just comforting. It was just something that I felt like I just needed to walk towards. When I walked towards that light, I found myself on a beach, this beautiful beach. I could like I was looking at the ocean. The ocean was so clear that you could see the bottom. I don't know how to explain this, but this is the coolest part. When I was looking at the sky, it looked like it was night and day at the same time. So imagine like the ground, like the sun hitting its light against the ground, but looking at the sky, it's like night. I could see stars, planets. I could see basically like the sky wasn't just black. It was blue. It was violet. It was all these colors that I could not comprehend. So whatever you're seeing right now, that's basically just a tip of what kind of colors you would see in heaven. I kept walking, and there was this path that led me to this big gate. It was this massive gate, and there was an angel that waited for me, and I'm like, where am I? And he said, just follow me. And he opens the gate, and with such ease. It's big. I was like thinking, how is he gonna open that thing? And he just pushes it with ease. There were so many buildings. If I could describe what heaven was like, the closest thing I could get was to, like, if you haven't seen Thor, look at Asgard. That's like, it's so amazing. The streets, when they like, it's like metaphorical when they say like the streets were made of like gold and silver, but like it's just so majestic that I can't describe what even the streets, the lights, the buildings, all of them like have this like golden like shine to it. Really, I was walking past all these other buildings, these mansions. I was like, all of these look like dream houses. And what's cool is that while I was walking, I could hear angels like singing, holy and worthy he is. Holy is the Lamb that was slain for us, and Emmanuel, all these names that he has. What's even cooler than that is that I saw these cherubs. If you haven't look up the word cherub in the Bible, and it kind of like resembles when Ezekiel had that dream with all those creatures, the head of a lion, the body of a man, wings like eagles. Like those were what I saw. And they were also like singing with this like amazing voice, like thunderous also. It's like, holy and worthy is the Lord. They were singing and singing and singing. I could listen to that all day. That's a song in itself right there. Keep walking, and I see this big river. It was like more like a stream, really. I think that was living water. I think that's what it was, closely resembling to living water. I see the throne, and I forgot to mention this, but even before I got past the gate, I could still see the throne. I saw 2 thrones. One was bigger than the other, but one was in the center. Of course, once I got to the throne, I saw a man, a figure of a man, but he was so brilliant, full of light. And then I saw this other throne. It was like on the right side, and I immediately saw a figure of a man. He had holes in his hand. Those were the only places that didn't have any light, that didn't show any much light. I already knew who this was. This was Jesus and God right before me, and I'm like, this is the closest I've ever been to God, like both physically and like spiritually. I kind of like fell at my feet. You know, what's the only thing you can do when you're in front of God? You gotta fall on your feet and just worship him like non-stop, and asking him all these questions like, why did you send me into that place? I don't think I belong in there. That was so terrifying. Why, God? And he said, Jesus, you are amazing. I love you, Lord. I just kept prophesying his name. I just kept blessing him, and I just kept asking him all these questions. Everything that I've ever wanted to say to Jesus just kind of like spilled out. And Jesus just sits next to me, and he just comforts me. And it's, you know, it's the closest thing to like sitting at the feet of Jesus. It's the most amazing, like presence filled. When they say like peace beyond understanding, that doesn't even begin to bring justice to what it felt like really at that place. He kind of just tells me to be obedient. To be obedient, that could mean many things really. Either to be like, go out and go out and share the gospel, or listen to me, or it could mean anything about obedience. But I don't think Jesus gave me like a clear way of like showing you what it meant to be obedient. But I held on to that. And Jesus leads me. He walks with me, and we were just walking, and we were talking, you know, and normal stuff. Even like, you know, Jesus, this is so cool. Like, what you've done to this place, it's so amazing. Like, I can't even fully grasp what it was like. I saw, well, this is the coolest part, I think, is that you know, I saw a deer there, little antelope, and he was this little antelope was playing with like a tiger. The tiger wasn't eating this antelope. They were like having a time, like they were just like hanging out. And I've never seen that before. Normally, what you would see now, like on TV or like in zoos, like the tigers are ferocious. But when I was in heaven, they were just sleeping on the ground together. They were taking a nap, and it was like, wow, that's the most like wholesome thing I've ever seen. And so we were walking out past the gate. Outside of this gate, I see what it looks to be a mansion. And Jesus, when we reach the door, he hands me a key, and it says, "This is yours." And I said, "Lord, I don't deserve this. I literally don't." And Jesus says, "Just take it." So I did, and we opened the door, and what's cool is that I saw everyone from church there, you know.
Did you see me?
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you.
Describe how I look like.
So what you were so swole, man. 6-pack and everything. I will not kid you when I say like everyone in their holy bodies looks so cool. I was like shredded. Yeah, but that was like the most amazing thing to like see, because like nothing is better to be in heaven and you seeing your loved ones there. We were just like having the time of our lives in that house. It was one big like family, and we were having like this awesome worship session. It felt like 3 hours, but it was actually like 3 minutes. It was just so amazing. I can't even begin to describe like how amazing it felt to worship in such an environment. You know, in here in earth, we can worship and we can get slain, yeah, sure, but in heaven, if you're having a hard time being in the presence of God, then, you know, that's a problem for you, because that place is so holy and it's so amazing just to be in. That presence alone can't even begin to describe what it felt like. I felt absolute peace. We kind of stopped. I went to leave the house. I went to explore what else heaven had, and when I was looking upon the beach again, and I see Pastor Jason and Pastor Loha. They were running around, having a good time in their holy bodies. It was cool. And then I see them with children. I don't remember how many children that there were, but I see them running around with like at least I think 2 or 3. And one of them begins to they pulled out this little ukulele, and Jesus walks by with them to the beach, and he just sits down with them, and they worship together. It was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. All of them could sing. Pastor Jason, the children, Pastor Loha were singing. I could sing. We could all sing. And what's cool is that the songs we were singing, they didn't have to do with all the the struggles and worries that we had here on earth. The songs were just basically saying holy and holy and holy and worthy he is. And that's kind of like how all the songs we were doing right now, they're good, but imagine in heaven, we're just singing holy, worthy, amazing, wonderful counselor, like stuff like that, and we were just going at it and just worshiping. Soon I found myself at this huge table, this amazing spread of food, and right behind us, where I was sitting, was the stream that I saw. And so when we were about to eat, I grabbed my glass, I dipped it into the stream, and I drank it, and I felt so satisfied. I think that's what it meant to have living water. Like once I drank it, I felt like there's nothing else that I need. I ate so much, man, like, and I didn't even gain a single pound, like, and when we were done eating, I believe it was the marriage for Jesus in the church. And when we were there, imagine traveling to an encounter, like how last year we went to Bethany, we kind of like just put on a van, drove to Louisiana. Well, this time, imagine just simply walking to the gate, and there's this big hall, and imagine hearing Jesus sing for the first time, and hearing him preach for the first time, like in person. And that's where the dream ends, but it begins to extend after that. So in a sense, that's what heaven was really like for me when I experienced it. And yeah, heaven's amazing.
Sounds like a cool place.
Yeah, it is.